Hello, and thank you for joining me again. We are back. Well, we are taking a look at the markets, and we start off, of course, by looking at the Forex market hours and what time are we trading at. We are on the 5:15 a.m. New York time, and it's not yet the beginning of the New York trading session, but we are right in the middle of the morning of the London trading session, and we are waiting to see the numbers, what our market's telling us today, and of course, we go straight to Bitcoin. We've finally made it over the 76K. You can see that. In fact, I think it went to a high of around 76.3, probably a bit higher, and we're making record numbers. Today I decided to start with the weekly chart simply because of this. This tells us we are reaching a ceiling. A ceiling, definitely a place to watch out for, because if there's a huge rejection at this point, we'll probably see prices dropping further, going to the downside. Everybody's talking about Bitcoin going to the 500K, going to the 3 million even. And what does the market tell us right now, right this moment? Tells us that the momentum is not as high as we expected, that probably there'll be a backtracking of prices. This could just be artificially instigated, not an organic growth of sorts. So for that reason, we have to be very careful with the Bitcoin. That's how I'm trading with this. I'm really careful. This is the weekly, and the weekly is telling us we are hitting ceilings. And unless there is a change to show us that indeed we have broken through the ceilings and they've become our new floors, then we have to tread very carefully. Down to the daily, see what I mean? Same things going on. We're reaching the peak. Yes, there's a huge green candle right over here, but even then, tells me that if one chooses to enter at these prices at this time, you're entering at the highest prices possible. Will better prices be offered in the market in the future? Yes, I expect so. I believe so. So if you're looking for an entry to come in, please do give it some time to settle. Let the market settle, especially right after this US elections. Let these prices settle. And at the place at which it settles will give you a good idea of where to come in at. Do I have a place where I can call it? Not yet, really. Not yet. I'm not seeing a clear entry. As you can see, it's still on the up. Not yet. Let's see. Let's go down to the 15 minute, to the 1 hour. Sorry. Then we can go down to the 15 minute. Top-down analysis works every time. Least you're sure about where you're coming in at, and the 1 hour is telling us the same thing. The 1 hour is so strong on this, it's saying that 76K was a ceiling, and if there are any high prices after that, it probably would be artificially instigated, and these prices are set to go down, further down. How much further, we can only guess, to wait and tell and see clearly. A good price would be here. 65K is one of the numbers we are looking at, where it could drop down to. Very cautious with this, very cautious. If buyers do kick in before that, this is also, this is an interesting level to look at, but I'm not so clear on this. I think I prefer this number there, about, still telling me around the 60 66K would be the other number. That's where I'd look at. That is if it's going down. As always, when we are planning for our trades, we plan upwards, we plan downwards. If the markets turn against us, we do have a plan, an exit plan. If it goes in our favor, we also do have a plan. That's the best way of treating the markets. For 1 hour, the 1 hour Bitcoin chart tells us that we are in a ceiling, waiting to see if there's a momentum coming down so that we can know if it's a good time to go up, that there's heavy movement in the market. Probably in the next few trades, I may consider adding the trading volume so that you can see how I use the trading volumes. For now, I'm just using a pretty much clean chart. I'll explain whatever indicator that you see. I don't use the indicators to trade as much as just to show me what's really happening right now. And the same thing's happening on the 15-minute. In fact, the 15-minute says that this is a downward movement. We're on the down. That's what the 15-minute says. But also with the down, it's saying if you'd like to enter for a short-term movement, this would be a good time to enter just round about there. That's what it says so far. 74K would be a good place to enter for a short-term movement. If you do enter the 74K, you have to be ready to jump out anytime. 75K would be like the first place to open up your parachute and jump. That is the Bitcoin. So let's go to our yen pairs, and we start with the dollar yen. Up. Today I decided to start with the weekly. We're going up to the weekly. Up to the weekly. And what do we see here? Very interesting story coming up. This is telling us that right over there at around the 140 price, the US yen, that would have been the best price to have entered at. That's on the 16th of September. So if that is so, when is the next best price? And it's telling us that this was a peak. But this was the best price to enter in for a buy. So we're literally on an uptrend, but the uptrend, you can see it's slowing down. It's slowing down. For that reason, that's why for the yen, I was really cautious. Even jumping in for a buy, it would have been a very short-term buy for me. I wouldn't have done a swing trade on this. Probably just a quick trade in and out. Down to the daily, does it say the same thing? Yes, of course, it's on the up, but even this is not yet, it's not sustainable. The momentum is telling us a different story. It's telling us that we're about hitting a ceiling around about here. Probably would be clearer if we look down to the 1 hour. There we are. There we go. There we go. And the 1 hour tells us prices peaked there. A roll over. Then this happened, or this happened. This movement was right after the elections were out. Not yet a very convincing move. Here, this whole movement tells me this is just a roll over, peaking, and we are waiting for these prices to drop. That's what I see. I'm not seeing a good entry up right now. These prices will drop. To where do we consider an entry? We're considering an entry at around the 147 price. That's a very good level, a strong level. Next best price would be down to about 144. if it doesn't slow down, that is. So we'll be very keen to look out at these prices just to see how the markets pan out. 147, a drop all the way to 147. So we're talking very good 755 pips. Quite a good drop. Quite a good drop if it goes that far down. That is, I'm not. This is definitely on the downward for me. It's all this sideways movement before. This was because of the news, the elections out. This tells me another story altogether. Down to the 15, just to make sure that indeed it is a peak. Oh yes, look at that. We're rolling over, really neatly so. And if it does go up, it will go up a few pips. Because on the very focused entry, that tells us it was a good place to enter at. So if you'd like to take a short-term entry, that would be it, depending on what this movement is. What am I looking at so that I can make this decision? I'm looking at this. The buys are not coming in strongly. You can see a sell-off and the buys kick in. This happens, but it's not yet making a lower low, not beating the previous prices. For that reason, this would have been the last best place to have entered in at. But this is when you're a huge risk taker and you'd like to go on the upside. I'm not looking for any buys up. I'm looking for sells. And if not, a drop in the market will tell me that indeed I'm going on a long-term sell. Just chilling with the yen pairs. We're just chilling. I go back up to the weekly and straight to the pound yen next. That's what I'm considering next. Let's see the story, the long version of the story, and you see what is happening. This tells us also that the last best price to have entered at was not even here. It was right here at 183.809. That was about 2 months ago, September. It's on an up. Yes, you can see the trend is still going upwards. Is it a peak? Good question. Let's go down to the daily. Let's see what the story is telling us. There's that September, that's the August movement, that's the September movement. That would have been a better entry. Probably a lot of volatility here or uncertainty whether it will keep on dropping down. I'm very keen watching this. This downward movement push of the prices downward tells me that we are still in a seller's market. I would only go in for a sell unless it's very clear. I can see what's really happening. Are we topping the last prices? Looks like there's still a bit more space for the upside, a bit more room. Probably there's this level that needs to be tested at around the 200 level. Worth watching, worth looking out for. If that is so, then prices would probably be peaking by this time. But the momentum, as you can see, is really slowing down. Let's confirm with the 1 hour. Is the 1 hour telling us the same thing? Just observing, just looking. Oh, the 1 hour is also telling me that this is a peaking of the prices. Prices are peaking around this area. If there is a move up, it will be a slightly move up higher than the last high there, but very slightly up. All this is just a risky area to take in, because we're waiting to see if this is an indication that the buyers have come in strongly, the buys are in. It's time for the markets to be bullish on this. I'm still of the bearish sentiment. If it does come